Hey there, it is Tuesday, September 29th. Welcome to this edition of Bitcoin Reef. We've got Tone Vays, uh, host of Unconfiscatable conference in Las Vegas in April, as well as Jimmy Song, representative, author of Programming Bitcoin and the Little Bitcoin Book. And I'm Christine Lee, a journalist and host of this show. So far, we see the markets are slightly down today, as well as Bitcoin. Tone, how are things going on your end?
Not bad. It's been really busy on my end releasing the MRI indicator. I did that late last night. No one has access to it yet. I need to make sure that, I didn't write any weird language in the release because then I would get censored. But anyone, I'll keep you guys posted on that. If you had access to my prior indicators, you will have access to this. It'll just take a little bit of time because it's a manual process to get every single person permission. So please stay patient. And I have a workshop coming up. Supposed to be this Saturday, but I was so late getting it out that I may want to move it if everyone that signed up is okay with it by 1 week. So we'll see. Anyway, it's been really busy. It's been a crazy weekend for me with all this stuff.
Cool. Lots of good MRI indicator work going on Tone's. How are you, Jimmy? What's going on?
Well, I've been testing a lot of hardware wallets of all types.
Ooh.
Like, seriously, I've been playing with these things like all day. Discovering certain limitations of this stuff, I am going to have to pay more attention to what's going on here because I need to get a good multi-sig setup for a lot of my clients.
Any recommendations?
So far, I like Kobo Vault and cold cards. These two are my favorites so far. Not impressed with BC Vault, even though they gave me this one for free. SafePal has very good hardware. Their software just isn't there. Trezor really needs SD card support. Ledgers are...
Whoa. It does. Trezor does have an SD card support.
Okay. Can I use the slot then? I haven't seen any way to do it with the interface, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, there's a slot. There's an SD slot in your...
Yeah, but I can't like actually write to it, or at least I haven't found a way to. If there was, then I would use it.
No. It's supposed to work. I mean, I've never used it, but it's there.
Well, I mean, it's been there for a while. I didn't know if they updated their firmware to make that work. Because if that were possible, I would totally use it. Because
I assume so. That thing has been there for like years.
Yeah, no, but I like Rodolfo's thing. Like totally works. This an excellent way to power your cold card without plugging it into anything. So very very cool. But yeah, I've been playing with this like for the last few days, and trying to get like Spectre desktop and
Ledger? What do you think of Ledger? What do you think of Ledger?
I don't like it that much.
I'm not a fan of Ledger.
It doesn't do multi-sig very well at all, and it's closed source and everything. So I don't think I'm gonna use it. If Trezor this setup, I think would probably work pretty well if Trezor had the SD card slot working. Otherwise, you have to plug it in order to do stuff, which I don't like because then it might get infected with malware or something. With Cold Card, you can use that battery setup, and Kobo is really cool because it has this sort of detachable battery.
Wait, I don't have that one. What is that?
Kobo. So they have Bitcoin only firmware with multi-sig support that you can download for it.
Oh wait, is that Stefan's? Is that
No, that's Spectre, and I would love to get that working, but I haven't been able to actually create the what is it, the actual, like you have to put it together. It's a do-it-yourself. So I mean,
okay, so
as
so
much as I love Stefan, I like his software is great though. Spectre desktop.
So my wall of hardware wallets is missing one.
Okay, yeah, this This one's pretty good. There's another one that I think I'm pretty excited about. It's called Engrave. I think they'll be coming out in the next 6 months or so, and they're out of Belgium. And I was gonna go to the Bitcoin Reformation conference in April, except they of course didn't hold it because of COVID. So I mean, there's a lot of options, I think, and we'll soon have like a whole variety of stuff. I want to build a Spectre. I have a lot of the components, but not all of them, so I have to wait.
Cool. That's a good segue to our first story that we're gonna take a look at, and it has to do with an exchange that has a hack, KuCoin hack, closer to 200 million as team releases more suspicious addresses. So, again, a reminder, maybe better to store your crypto on a hard cold storage rather than on an exchange. All right, so KuCoin, as the team releases more information about yesterday's hack, it's clear that the damage is worse than initially thought. We see that these hackers took out closer to $200 million worth of digital assets, over 1,000 Bitcoin worth of over $10 million, $153 million worth of Ethereum and ERC20 tokens. The list goes on. We also have another article here. Initially, it was reported that 130 million of KuCoin was stolen. But they're also going to be frozen by some crypto projects. So various blockchain projects have worked quickly to freeze 2/3 of the hackers' haul. About 203 million was lost to the KuCoin hacker. Crypto projects have frozen or intend to freeze 65% of that. The true damage may be much greater. And this is a Singapore-based exchange. Jimmy, how effective are they going to be at freezing these coins? And I guess, another exchange being hacked comes as no surprise to you.
No, it doesn't. If you scroll down on this story just a little bit, because well, go up to the top with the update, because this is hilarious. A previous version of this article said that some coins, among them Penis.finance and Dino token, were stolen. In several cases, the developers of such tokens sent them to the attacker's wallet. So I love how those two projects managed to get in on the story just by sending free coins to the hacker's wallet. The blockades like that, or sort of like doing something with doing something with oh gosh. All right, let's finish laughing, guys. Let's finish laughing.
Okay.
I did not see that before. Holy
yeah, I didn't catch that one either.
Penis.finance and Dino token, yeah. It's great. Those are great DeFi names. Yeah, so the centralized controllers of these quote unquote like blockchain projects that are supposedly decentralized, the fact that you could actually prevent these coins from moving or reissuing them in some cases, should give you a little bit of pause, because they're doing it obviously for a hacker. We don't really know who the hacker is, or what they did, or whether it's some vendor of KuCoins that took the money, legitimately or not. But they're going to do what they're going to do, and that's the big difference between Bitcoin and all these other altcoins, is that with Bitcoin, when it's a bearer instrument, once it's transferred, it is gone. With all of these other things, you have some central entity that can sort of prevent some things. And this has happened over and over again with a lot of these, quote unquote hacks or whatever. I still remember Shapeshift a while back had a big hack, or some employee that stole a bunch of coins, or something like that. And basically, Eric Voorhees was able to call up every other exchange and say, don't accept coins from this particular address. And they were able to negotiate like 1/5 of the actual price of the Ethereum and get it back, which should give you pause, right? Like if it's not really yours, and if if there's some intermediary that gets to decide who gets to transfer their money and who doesn't, that's a problem. And that's something, unfortunately, that a lot of these exchanges are kind of used to, and it's their form of getting a bailout, from the central banks, which are these coins' foundations.
All right. Antone, you wanted to talk about this under the broader umbrella of DeFi. Especially, we see in other articles saying that Few brings out DeFi risks. Ethereum proponents are caught planning to dump on investors. And we see this Telegram group where some influencers in the Ethereum space are basically saying that, we missed out on the meme airdrop and the pump and dump there, and maybe we should create our own coin and, pump and dump with that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if you scroll down, there's actual very specific examples. It was that email tweet. Yep, keep going. The tweet from Uri that references another tweet specifically showing you like one of these influencers and pumping a coin, and then in a private group chat say like, hey, we need new people to dump this thing on. And this is the reality of the space. None of these, all these people that are promoting shitcoins, and yes, I literally mean with the word shitcoin, anything other than Bitcoin, people that are promoting it, people that use those currencies, tokens as their logos, all those anonymous Twitter accounts and some non-anonymous Twitter accounts, they only have one goal. Their goal is to sell you that shitcoin so that they can make more money or Bitcoin. Like, it depends. Like, I don't know if they even care about Bitcoin. They care about buying that Lambo. They don't care about hodling and earning more money. I mean, they have a job. Their job is to sucker you in so that they can make money. And many people literally try to use the best tactics of SEO and optimization to become influencers, just so they can profit from the fact that they are influencers. Look, we're not saying like, look, myself included, I do profit from the fact that I became well-known, but that wasn't the reason why I started doing it. I started speaking at conferences. I started writing articles because I wanted to do it. Eventually, the popularity grew. So at some point, yes, you can take advantage of that popularity to make a living. But I've always gone out of my way to make sure that living is in the most honest and ethical way possible. And I still don't even charge speaking fees, just travel expenses when I speak at events. But in general, most of your influencers, they're only there for the money. They're not there to actually try and change the world and make it better. They're just there for the money. And same thing with I would say 90% of conferences and 90% of speakers at 90% of conferences, those speakers are on stage not because they're experts in something. They are on stage because they paid the conference to go on stage and tell the audience something. And I'm sure Jimmy will agree with that. So it's very rare to find a conference that does not cater to that. Most conferences, the reason why someone's on stage is because they paid to sell you shit.
Yeah, Tone, weren't you just offered like several $100,000 to shill a token, and you publicly said you wouldn't do it?
Yeah, I would never go for that. And but yeah, so this is how the space works. It's really, really bad.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's been common in this space, where you get offered tons and tons of pre-mined coins in order to go and shill it. And that's been happening for a very long time. And the fact that people were just so transparent about it in this chat, should give you a little bit of pause, right? A lot of these are very strong influencers in the Ethereum space, and they're out there saying, yeah, let's go dump on these people and let's pump it and do all this other stuff. I mean, I don't know why you think they have your best interests at heart if that's what you're doing. You shouldn't really trust these people. You shouldn't really trust me or Tone either. It's just, you should go verify things yourself. And that's unfortunately very much lacking today.
Tone, do you have anything to add on the KuCoin hack and your thoughts on,
well, other
the
than
freezing?
everyone should go and read my article on tonevays.com blog about what it means to be decentralized. No, this is exactly what we've always been saying. If you are not Bitcoin, eventually you will expose yourself as a complete centralized entity with full control. And this Ethereum proved this in the DAO hack. And because they already proved it, they will go out of their way not to prove it again because they know how bad it will look. But everything else will eventually prove itself to be fully centralized. We're going to be watching that the upcoming fork in Bcash, so they can prove it. But I think they already proved it with what they did with those checkpoints in the code. But all of them are, every single project in crypto other than Bitcoin has elements of centralization. You don't know how bad they are until they are forced to prove it to you how bad they are, but they will all eventually show up.
All right, words to the wise. Taking a look at another part of the world in Iran, their power plants are going to auction off surplus energy to Bitcoin miners. 3 power plants in Iran have been given the green light to provide their surplus energy to Bitcoin miners to ramp up their revenue and ease pressure on the national grid. An interesting way to, I guess, energy efficiency. Thoughts on that? Jimmy, you want to go with that?
I mean, Iran, we know, has been under a lot of international sanctions. So this makes some sense. They want to have their people be able to get stuff internationally. And Bitcoin is one of the few ways in which, there's no questions asked, right? Like you just pay with Bitcoin, get things shipped to you. Yeah, I don't know how much excess energy they have, to be honest. A lot of that region runs on oil, and it's easier to sell the oil rather than, but maybe they have like flaring or something like that. But yeah, I mean, this makes perfect sense. The energy market is like that, where you have a lot of extra energy oftentimes at the edges that you don't have a good use for, and it costs too much to transport and so on. So yeah, good luck to them. Maybe they'll be able to, gather a lot of Bitcoin and do something with it with their central bank. I don't know.
Tone, is this a bullish sign for Bitcoin?
Well, I'm not exactly sure that this means that the government is actually going to be in control of the Bitcoin. It looks like they just have additional power that they don't know what to do with. And that's mostly because they are constantly under these sanctions. And these sanctions are, I feel that sanctions are pretty bad. And like what else I ran into, like, for example, if they have all this excess power, if there were no sanctions, they can call up Elon Musk and say, hey, if you bring a bunch of Teslas here, we can power them for free for years. And our people will, have cleaner cars too. Well, those debatable if those batteries are making the world cleaner or not. But anyway, different discussion. I think Teslas are great. I can't wait to get one. So they have excess power. They are under ridiculous sanctions. And this is the end result. And this is this bad cycle where the West puts Iran under sanctions. Iran now is forced, because they have to do what's right for their country, do things like this. It helps Bitcoin. And now the West gets to demonize Bitcoin because that's Iran's solution to help Bitcoin. At the end of the day, everything that happens around the world will always help Bitcoin. And that's why I am very comfortable with my HODL position. So this isn't good or bad. This is just an indication of reality of the situation of what countries can do in order to, do right by their people.
Right. We see that Iran is one of the latest countries to not only soften their stance on Bitcoin mining, but to actively embrace the industry. However, it wasn't just a lenient attitude propelling the move. The solution to sell surplus energy to miners came in a bid to counteract another problem, which was, the Iran's Ministry of Industry, Mine and Trade has issued over 1,000 licenses to Bitcoin miners. The plan was to use mining revenue to bolster Iran's crippled economy and evade US sanctions. However, the move ended up putting an intense strain to Iran's power network. So I guess this is a strategy to address that problem. But for this study, the University of Cambridge's Center for Alternative Finance, Iran accounts for as much as 3.82 of Bitcoin's global hash rate as of April this year. It's an interesting chart. So China dominates with 65%, followed by the United States, just over 7%, then Russia, then Kazakhstan, Malaysia, and Iran is up there. So you kind of see who's.
Yeah, it would be very interesting if Iran moves all the way up, and starts to challenge Russia and US for Bitcoin mining hash rate. That's gonna be, I mean, if the US doesn't care and they start crippling the industry and then complain that all the mining is happening in China, imagine what's gonna happen if most of the mining is happening in Iran. That's going to be very, very interesting. The West needs to, get their shit together and be more, free market and more towards Bitcoin. Though, again, this is the Tone Vays double-edged sword. If you are printing your own money, if you're an ICO scammer, if you're a DeFi scammer, there's regulation, but Bitcoin isn't those things. This is why Bitcoin is different.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of these stats because like there are countries I know that have hash rate that aren't on there, so who knows?
No.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. I really don't think China is 65%. I think that's
that looks way too high.
That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, that is surprising. Okay, well, on to our next story. Blockstream launches new Bitcoin and liquid wallet. Bitcoin infrastructure company Blockstream announced the launch of the Aqua wallet earlier today as per a release shared with the BTC Times. The wallet marks the second mobile wallet project under Blockstream's umbrella after the firm acquired Green Address in 2016. Aqua will initially be available on iOS and support Bitcoin as well as any liquid assets. Jimmy, we were talking about wallets earlier. What are your thoughts on this development?
I mean, I'm not sure why they're doing it because they have Green Address and it works fine. But I guess they wanted to develop their own thing with, Aqua. I mean, it really depends on like what sort of so interesting things that you can do to sort of anonymize your Bitcoin and things like that. I'm hoping that's like a feature that you have where you can move Bitcoin from mainnet over to liquid and then back, in which case you would get something like a coin join with all the other people that have coins in liquid, which isn't that much, but it's enough to give you a decent anonymity set. That would be interesting to me personally. I'm not sure if that's something that's planned or easy enough to do.
Well, I was gonna say I think this is also like I don't want to say a shitcoin wallet, but I think this wallet will handle assets on top of liquid. So if those people that did create tokens on the liquid side chain, I think they would be able to use this wallet for those tokens.
It says Blockstream said it will continue to develop.
Not really a shitcoin, but it could be. It depends. Like at that point, if you are building your token on top of liquid, at least now we can debate the merit of the token and not the underlying garbage you're building it on. So at least you've removed the underlying garbage of Ethereum. You're building your token on top of an actual blockchain, and now we can debate whether your token is needed or not.
Well, So Blockstream is saying that they'll continue to develop Aqua alongside Blockstream Green. Aqua caters to casual Bitcoin users that want to keep things as simple as possible. Blockstream Green will support all major operating systems, while Aqua will be mobile only. So I guess just trying to access more of the retail Robinhood crypto type investors. I don't know. So, all right. Also, we're taking a look at Venezuela there. It sees their first Blockstream Bitcoin satellite node. So users can't afford to be cut off from the Bitcoin network. This is an interesting development. So a Bitcoin services startup based in South America has just launched the first Bitcoin node connected to the Blockstream satellite network within Venezuela. The launch of the node will keep the Bitcoin blockchain updated for Venezuela users without being dependent on a local internet connection. Crypto training course provider Annabelle Crypto deployed the node, while Crypto Buyer provided financial and logistical support. So this will be available 24/7. This is a really great development, especially in a situation in Venezuela where a lot of people see their currencies are being inflated, very volatile situation, power going in and out. So this, having a satellite up there and being able to access Bitcoin 24/7 is a really excellent development. Your thoughts, Tone?
Yeah, again, the same thing with Iran, like we talked about, where you have countries under sanctions. I think Venezuela somewhat, well, the government of Venezuela deserves theirs way more, because for what the whole socialist and communist style, what's going on there. And that is kind of spreading in the US as well. So let's see what happens after the election. But yeah, this is all good news. And if Venezuela is to embrace Bitcoin more, maybe they can get out of this insanity that they're in and get back to being one of the top countries in Latin America, like they were, 20, 25 years ago or something like that, maybe 30 years ago, where they were the #1 economy or top 2 economies in all of Latin America. And this is what happens when socialists and communists take over your country. And a lot of people just don't understand the outcome of that. So everything is good news. The problem in Venezuela, of course, is going to be connectivity. Bitcoin is great if you have connectivity. So yes, they launched a satellite, but I don't even know how to use Bitcoin transactions through a satellite. Something I probably need to take the time and learn. And I don't know how many people in Venezuela would know how to use this technology. So I hope that people there are educating on how to send these Bitcoin transactions.
Okay, that's a good question for Jimmy then. How do you use Bitcoin with a satellite?
Well, it's more to receive. If you give like a Bitcoin address and you don't have internet, then this will be the lifeline to allow it. So this is more useful because if the country of Venezuela gets cut off from the internet, then they'll still have Bitcoin nodes that are running. And this is especially important in light of the fact that the Venezuelan government has decreed that they are taking over all Bitcoin mining in Venezuela. I don't know if we covered that story on the show, but that's something that they came out with recently.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Jimmy. I'm sorry. Like government taking over Bitcoin mining is like government taking over oil mining. Like they're terrible at it. They're gonna drive it into the ground.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking will happen is that it'll go underground. But in order to go underground, you need some secure way to be able to transmit and receive sort of the latest blockchain data. And a satellite, you can at least receive it, and you could probably transmit it using text message or some other form of transmission. There's also satellite uplinks and things like that, which are possible, though that's a lot more expensive, that you can use for this sort of thing. So I'm guessing that that's what this is meant for, is more for all of those miners that are going to go underground and try to mine off the free electricity that the government's providing anyway.
Oh, I see this as being like part of the future. Eventually, a lot of satellites will be accessed. I mean, I've heard, you know, a lot, like Elon Musk has talked about launching satellites and offering free internet in the world. Do you see this as some sort of inevitability?
Like the satellite dish
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I mean, I have a Blockstream satellite kit, which I should really put together and get ready. But yeah, I mean, I think for anyone that's serious about security, that's like the way to do it. Is you get a fresh install laptop and like don't ever connect it to the internet, but do connect it to this satellite node so that you still have Bitcoin data and you can create transactions and so on. So, I mean, that would be ideal.
All right, cool. Moving ahead, we've got another story, Hal Finney's proposal for optimizing Bitcoin to be enabled in Bitcoin Core. So today, a patent involving the acceleration of cryptographic operations on elliptic curves has expired. Invented by Gallant, Lambert, and Vanstone, this technique is commonly referred to as GLV endomorphism and can now be activated in Bitcoin Core in order to improve the speed and efficiency of Bitcoin signature verification. Okay, Jimmy, this is definitely in your realm. What's going on here?
Yeah, so there's an endomorphism in the elliptic curve that can be used. This is actually how I got into elliptic curve cryptography, was this very optimization, because this was one of the first projects that I did as an open source contributor to BTCD, which is an alternate client for Bitcoin. But essentially what you can do is, instead of doing like 256 operations, you can get away with 128 using that, which gives you a pretty decent speed up in the slowest operation in elliptic curves, which is division.
Can you give a backup, and what is an elliptic curve cryptography?
Elliptic curve cryptography is the basis of the cryptography behind Bitcoin. So the public key cryptography, the fact that you give a public key to everybody else and you can prove that you own the private key by signing something, that is done using elliptic curve cryptography instead of RSA. Which has much larger keys and wouldn't be very good for Bitcoin. So Satoshi chose elliptic curve cryptography for that. The GLV endomorphism in particular, and I actually looked at Hal Finney's post back in like 2015 to figure out what the hell he was saying, because I didn't really understand what was going on. And I read that book, The Guide to Elliptic Curve Cryptography, with Hankerson, Menendez, and Vanstone. And they basically give you the outline of exactly what to do. And I didn't really understand it, but I implemented it. And as I was implementing it, I was forced to understand it. But basically, it gives you a nice speed up because you can take 256 operations down to 128, and that, or somewhere around there. And that gives you a nice speed up. That sort of boost is especially important for block validation. And according to Peter Wohler, I saw his code in the libsec 256k1 library. He had done the optimization, but it wasn't enabled without a particular flag that you had to pass in. I think it will be enabled now, which should give you a nice speed up. There's lots of little things like that with the engineering that makes it possible for people to run full nodes on pretty minimal hardware, like a Raspberry Pi or something, given that you have enough space. And yeah, it's kind of cool. I had no idea that it was on their patent when I coded it for BTCD. So I don't know, maybe I was in violation. I have no idea. But regardless, it's out of patent. Algorithms really shouldn't be patented. In fact, I don't think patents are a good thing, period. But yeah, that it is what it is, and the fact that it expired is really, really good.
Huh, okay. So we also, is this the patent method for accelerating cryptographic operations?
Yeah, finite field arithmetic over elliptic curves. This is exactly what I teach in my book, actually. So yeah. And it takes a little more digging in order to actually understand this particular method. The endomorphism is kind of a tricky concept, but essentially you can get away with a lot less calculations from a computing standpoint. That's basically what it is.
Okay, so what can we expect for the Bitcoin network going ahead with this patent expiry?
Well, so once it goes into LibSec 256K1, and I mean, it's already in there. Just the switch needs to be flipped so that it's enabled by default. Then block validation should speed up at least a little bit. I'm not sure exactly how much, and you might not need quite as much hardware. Although, you know, from a hard drive standpoint, you're still going to have to run quite a bit, unless you're running in prune mode. So yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that this patent expired. I hate patents for this reason. It stifles innovation. The reason why Schnorr took so long was because it was under patent. I think that patent expired in like 2011 or something like that. And the fact that we can finally get it on Bitcoin in the next soft fork upgrade will be a tremendous thing.
Okay, so more developments in Bitcoin, more updates, more positive developments. What are your thoughts, Tom?
Yeah, no, I agree with Jimmy. I hate patent law. I used to be a much bigger fan of trademark law, a little less these days. I like trademark law when it comes to logos. Like if you've designed a logo, like others shouldn't be able to use your logo to pretend that, you know, they're selling your product. So I think trademarks on logos are good, but I'm not a fan of patents at all. They do a horrendous job in stifling innovation, and plus all the patent trolling and all the it gets really, really bad. And like Jimmy said with Schnorr, Satoshi would have loved to use Schnorr from the start, but he couldn't because it was patented. And people say, well, why would Satoshi care? And I think I answered this question long ago, but I'll do it again. Why would Satoshi care? He's an anonymous person. He's launching Bitcoin. Because in the very early days, we're talking 2009, 2010, that early mining might have been in jeopardy if every person mining Bitcoin is somehow in violation of patent law. It makes that early miner a criminal, or at least potentially legally liable, not necessarily a criminal. And that could have deterred some mining or some early on adoption if there was stuff in there that would have been considered patented. So he did the best job he could in releasing Bitcoin with complete open source things, and he didn't patent anything. And as these patents expire, Bitcoin will continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger.
All right. I have heard, you know, from Craig Wright, he's trying to patent the whole space.
Yeah,
what do you make of that?
When I was at that conference in London, when I was on the panel with Craig Wright in that shirt, we're all Satoshi except for Craig Wright, I had a chat with the moderator that did a fireside chat with him, one of the main moderators, and he actually looked into Craig Wright and all the patents that Craig Wright and nChain claims to have, and he says that they're legit. That he has like 100 patents or something, all related to like the Bitcoin technology. And Craig Wright is very adamant that if a few years from now you're using a Bitcoin transaction, you will owe Craig Wright money, and the Bitcoin code would be forced to put in not a miner tax but a Craig Wright tax to pay him a royalty on all the patents that he has surrounding Bitcoin technology. And this is, of course, laughable and ridiculous. But I had to, and this person that was moderating those panels, he was genuinely concerned for Bitcoin's future. And this is how, I guess, the charisma and the outright bullshit of Craig Wright like scares people into believing and following him. So yeah, it's not a concern to me.
Well, yeah, it is. I have read up on it as well. It is true that Craig Wright is patenting and a lot of the blockchain space. Right now, he's kind of sitting on it. It's unclear what he's going to do. I am curious though if a Craig Wright tax could be forced onto Bitcoin or.
No, of course it can't. Oh, come on, this guy like copyrighted the Bitcoin white paper and like did all the like he's a con man. He's a con man. He's a con man. If you don't know that, you need to get that through your thick skull. There's so many people that just seem to lose their minds when it comes to that guy, and he doesn't like. I have no idea why he has any cachet that he does. And yeah, none of anything that he does is ever legitimate. I'm just convinced.
Like the way copyrights and trademarks work is you have to defend them. You can't just have them. If you have some kind of a trademark or a copyright, but you have no means to enforce it, if you have no financial means to sue people that are using them, then you're going to lose it. And they don't have, I mean, they tried suing everyone and they lost them all. So they have no means of enforcing anything.
Yeah. Well, you know, Craig Wright and Calvinera, they're up to something. Who knows what they're going to do about it. But taking a look at the Bitcoin transactions, Jimmy, take it away.
Yeah, if you could scroll down a little bit, you can see that it cleared all the way down to about 6 to 8 Satoshis per byte last night, which wasn't was more than I expected. Well, less than I expected. I expected it to go down all the way to like 4 to 5. Looks like there's a bunch more transactions in the mempool right now. And as the day goes on, it'll get higher. I expect the peak to be higher than it was yesterday. But yeah, it's a normal pattern this week, or has been over the past few weeks, which is that, you know, if you want it to clear overnight, you're going to have to put in around 10. And you're not going to get your 1 Satoshi per byte transactions cleared until the weekend. If you need it in the next few blocks, you're going to have to pay 50 to 60. Sorry, but it's the morning right now, and this is when a lot of activity starts. So it is what it is.
Okay, great. And we want to remind people to pick up a book of Programming Bitcoin by Jimmy Song, as well as the little Bitcoin book we got here. You've probably heard about Bitcoin on the news or heard it discussed by your friends or colleagues. Why Bitcoin matters for your freedom, finances, and future. Find out all about it. Go to programmingbitcoin.com, as well as the Unconfiscatable conference. We want to remind people that we're hopeful that things will open up next year. And at the end of April, head over to Las Vegas, where Tone will be hosting the Bitcoin conference and the annual celebrity poker tournament at Unconfiscatable. So thank you for that, yeah. And with that, we're going to take a look at some price analysis from Tone. What's going on in the markets?
Let's do it. We go to screen share. All right, here we go, guys. I will be teaching the MRI workshop. It's scheduled for this Saturday, but I might move it to next Saturday. So please, if you're thinking about registering, give me till, I don't know, tomorrow to figure all that out. But it is happening. I released the code. No one has access to it yet, but people will. Also, just a quick heads up. This is probably a fake conference, so please don't register for it. It's in Turkey. It's probably a scam. It pains me to be on this list of speakers because I think the only one here that I actually, you know, can that I'm on good terms with is Brock Pierce. So I don't talk to any of these people. I don't really want anything to do with any of these people. So it's talk about a list on which Tone Vays doesn't belong. But yeah, so this is probably a fake conference. There's no way they were going to be able to put these speakers in a room, especially in the middle of a pandemic. So there you go, just a heads up. So yeah, that's what they do. A lot of scammers, they just put pictures of speakers and they try to sell you tickets to a conference that doesn't exist. So you got to be real careful there. Okay, so what are we looking at here? All my annotations are gone because I've been taking screenshots for the workshop for the MRI indicator. Here's the weekly chart. This is the weekly live chart. We dropped a little bit, and here we are back still in the middle of between 10,000 and 11,000, and we remain in the no trade zone. Weekly no trade zone still intact. Here's the daily chart. Let's put the annotations back up. Let's move this to the current time frame. And once again, we have been consolidating for almost a week now. So the daily chart is also on a no trade zone. You have to go into really the low level time frames in order to get a trade going. For me personally, I would be bearish if the price starts dropping below these lows, which is 10.2. And I would be bullish if the price starts going up above 11,000, which it is not at the moment. So now we have to go to the lower level time frames. This is the 1 hour chart. Let's start with the 4 hour chart. Here is the current 4 hour chart. Ignore I had to drop some lines again because I had to make notes. So the 4 hour chart, let's zoom this out. Since I removed a bunch of lines, I can also remove these things. They're not necessary. Four-hour chart is in a no trade zone as well. As you can see, we are stuck between a recent low and a recent high. So once again, I think this purple line is there saying I would be bullish if we're breaking the line, but now we're right back at the line. This line has now been moved up. So now I would need, on a 4 hour scale, I would need us to go above 10,900, which is almost 11,000, to be bullish on the 4 hour time frame. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. The 1 hour time frame is also pretty much, ooh, what's going on here? There it is. The 1 hour time frame gave you an MRI buying opportunity at 2,300 hours. It looks like I'm in the East Coast based on the UTC -4. And buying opportunity right here near the lows at 10,680 early this morning or late last night in the US hours. And right now it's telling you that, hey, you may want to take your profit on that. So the 1 hour chart is also totally neutral. So once again, I am kind of useless in identifying any kind of trends up or down. And I believe I said the same thing last time. And as you can see from the daily chart, nothing has changed. We have not moved at all in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, 5 days of no price action. So there you go. Not much interesting. Gold. Let's see what's going on. Gold's rallying a little bit today, but still under a very critical support line that it broke at 19,025. Until gold gets back above 19,125, I don't really see it as all that interesting. People are asking about the daily Arun cross. Let me go to the daily chart. Let me see if I have the Arun. Yes, that is a legitimate daily Arun cross. I did not see that. Thank you for somebody for pointing that out. That is a very nice daily Arun cross below 20. So that is a buying opportunity according to the Arun, which means Bitcoin should have been purchased September 28th, which was basically yesterday. So if you had purchased Bitcoin yesterday, according to the Arun, let's see what, come on, let's see what would happen. Well, it depends when yesterday. So if you did it early in the morning, you probably did it at the breakout. So you're almost at break even. So let's see how the Arun performs over the next week or two. All right, let's move on. Took a look at gold. Gold right now, to me, is still in a bearish posture. You're on a monthly MRI top. You had a weekly MRI top back in August. You also had extensions C and B ending right on the high. Lots of things still pushing gold down. So let's see what happens going forward. Until gold goes above 1920, I'm not that interested. S&P is pulling back a little bit today. Here's the daily chart. The S&P did break its first level of resistance yesterday on a crazy day, but let's see if it's sustainable. Right now, to me, the S&P is not fully bullish until it breaks the prior swing high. The prior swing high is 3,400 at the close, or 3,430 at the swing high. That's, of course, the futures market. Here's the cash market. They are probably similar. That is 3412 and 3440. That's what I would need it to break. Yes, it broke resistance. It gapped over it, in fact. So you never had a chance to get rejected by it. But let's see. So S&P also had a top that was daily inside a weekly top. And this whole year has been an MRI top as well. So it's clearly a volatile year. There you go. I happen to have the VIX open. And VIX has been really good with the MRI. Just perfect chart for MRI tops and bottoms. And that's pretty much it for me. Check out, well, this is the workshop. I may change the date to October 10th. I'm going to figure that out right now. But it is going to happen since the indicator is now out there. I will start giving people access that had access to the prior one. If you want to support, check out the affiliate page. And if you are looking to learn the basics of trading, here are my videos. You can also learn for free at Learn Trading. All right, that is it for me, I believe. So thank you, guys.
All right.
The debates tonight, I'm actually going to watch it. It's going to be interesting. Man, I don't think I've ever seen an election this, what can I say? Like people are, I don't know the right word for it.
Like, they're losing their minds? What?
Yeah. So people think that literally the world will end if their candidate doesn't win. Like I've never seen it before. Like people have been very, pro their person, but I've never seen it this divisive. It's like literally, it's almost to the point of violence if their candidate isn't going to win.
Yeah, I think we've been having an inflation and hysteria, just like fiat inflation. And it's been increasing with every election in my entire lifetime. So yeah, not a surprise. We'll see if there's violence at the end of this one, but that's a distinct possibility.
That's what some parts of the world want to see in the United States. They want to see the divisiveness. They want to see the volatility, and that's what's happening in the United States right now. It's a very scary, trajectory that it's headed in. But yeah, we've got on the news side lots of things going on with the Supreme Court pick, Taxgate with Trump, and the debate tonight. So a lot of things going on, impacting the markets for sure.
Yes.
All right, so with that, thank you guys for joining us on this edition of Bitcoin Brief, Tuesday, September 29th. We've got our lovely host of the Unconfiscatable conference, Tone Vays, giving us all the education and trading inside information, as well as Jimmy Song, author of Programming Bitcoin, giving us all the expertise on technically related issues in Bitcoin. Thank you very much. And I'm Christine, your host and journalist.
Thank you, guys.
Fiat delenda est. This song is done.